Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amanda Jenkins, President of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Greater Cincinnati Chapter.
Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to National Philanthropy Day. On behalf of the Association of Fundraising Professionals and the NPD Planning Committee, thank you for attending today's luncheon. Please go ahead and begin your salads. The main course will be out shortly. And if you'd like to follow along, there's a QR code right there that you can see the digital program. But thank you all for being here. Today we gather to celebrate something truly meaningful, the joy of giving. It's a theme that in uncertain times can unite us and a reminder of the difference each of us can make. In our community, we see every day that generosity has the power to lift spirits, build bridges, and create a better Cincinnati. When we give our time and treasure, no matter how little or how big, we inspire others to give too, creating ripples of kindness that spread far beyond what we can see. As we begin, I want to celebrate the incredible achievements of today's honorees. National Philanthropy Day is our time to recognize individuals, organizations, and businesses that are inspiring change and uplifting communities. Their commitment makes a profound impact across the nonprofit world, from the arts to education to social services and so much more. Each day, generous benefactors and dedicated volunteers make a difference to people and organizations across the spectrum. National Philanthropy is AFP's signature event where we come together to honor and celebrate this joyful, inspiring work. Today, nonprofits have the opportunity to recognize their loyal donors, those whose dedication and kindness make an extraordinary impact. Before we hear from today's honorees, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the dedicated volunteers who make AFP such a vibrant organization. Thanks to their leadership, our chapter has provided over 150 hours of professional development, peer learning, and mentoring and networking to support our fundraising community. Would all the board and committee volunteers please stand up to be recognized for a moment? And a special thanks to the past leaders whose vision laid the foundation we stand on today. Because of their commitment, we're entering into a new exciting chapter, and I'm thrilled to introduce Ken Cogshaw as AFP Cincinnati's very first executive director. With his leadership, I know we will continue to grow and spread the joy of giving, reaching even more hearts and creating a lasting impact for years to come. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you everyone. Thanks to all of you for joining us today for this terrific event. As Amanda mentioned, my name is Ken Cogshaw, and I am the Executive Director of AFP. I am beyond pleased and excited to be in this new role. But I did just get the gig, so bear with. We are here today to celebrate the joy in giving. I think that this is a concept and a feeling that everyone in the room can understand. And we understand that this joy is not derived simply from writing a check. Although, speaking for all the nonprofits in the room, we'll take that too. It is also about the giving of dedication, of commitment, of passion, and insight. And giving, as we all know, is not just a one-way street. As nonprofit organizations, we cannot simply be the recipients of giving. It is incumbent upon us to give back to our donors, our volunteers, and our communities, making sure that we are delivering gratitude, value, and impactful programs and services for the benefit of those we serve. And just a quick word about AFP here. AFP exists to support all of these things through the things that we provide our members, through education programs, certification, networking, etc. I know many of you have participated in AFP programming at some level. And through all these things, we help strengthen all of your organizations, and by extension, we strengthen our community as a whole. So it is through all these interactions and relationships that the joy in giving is creating. This year's honorees truly personify this joy. all of them in their own way, whether through their career-long efforts of Sherry, Pam, and Patty, the brand new initiative of Barbara's BT Rise, or the inspiring work of Peyton, who is just getting started and is already making a big difference at such a young age. Let's hear it for them. I would also like to thank our wonderful sponsors, especially Fifth Third Foundation, Movers and Makers, Prestige AV and Creative Resources, the Christ Hospital Health Network, and PNC Bank. Time constraints prevent me from mentioning everyone, but they're all listed on the screens behind me. So go ahead, let's hear it for them as well. Yeah, right on. By the way, Tom Mariner asked me to make sure that you take everyone has an issue of Movers and Makers at your seat. Tom asked me to make sure that you take that with you and share it with a colleague or a loved one. He didn't really say loved one, I just made that part up. So wait a minute, skip ahead here. Oh yeah, okay. So we also want to extend our appreciation, like I said, bear with me, okay? We also want to extend our appreciation to our single ticket purchasers and generous donors in attendance. And of course, we acknowledge the contributions of all our volunteers whose efforts make this event possible. If you are a volunteer donor or a donor, please stand and be recognized. I know the volunteers already did, but okay. I would also like to reiterate Amanda's appreciation of the board and NPD committee members. They have worked hard and they put in just unbelievable hours to make this all happen. And this is all while, bear in mind, all the members of our board, from the president to everyone, they all have day jobs, you know. They're doing this, they're volunteering of their own accord, and they work incredibly hard. I don't know how they do it. So, thank you. So that's about all I've got for you. So to introduce our next speaker, I'd like to welcome Adrian Taylor, our immediate past president of AFP Greater Cincinnati. Adrian.
Thank you, Ken, and good morning, everyone. I want to say thanks so much for celebrating our awardees with our chapter today. Before I get into the business of introducing our guests, I would like to say just one thing to our emerging leaders or young professionals attending today. Find someone who can support you through your achievements, walk you through your challenges, lift you up when mistakes are made, and of course, laugh through embarrassing moments. Someone who you would dang near follow anywhere. Speaking of which, let me share an embarrassing story with you, which is definitely related to our guest today. It was my first AFP Global Board meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. The atmosphere in the room was lively but focused. The agenda was packed, but the team had managed to stay on task, which we know is a rare feat sometimes in board meetings. Midway through the meeting, we were released for a break. Me, a new board member, eager, energetic, probably a tad bit overzealous, stood up immediately, looked across the room to a seasoned board member, Birgit. We're on break. She also rose to stretch her legs, and as others milled around chatting or checking emails, I noticed the buffet table that had been sitting outside of the room that had been set up for the lunch break. So I'm sitting here like, wow, my stomach is wrapped around my spine. All of this looks good. And I whispered that to Birgit, who casually wandered over to the buffet table. So without further thought, we were assembling our plates. I was all in, stacking food, concerned with getting my dessert now instead of later, just in case someone took that chocolate dessert that I needed. So I'm two-fisting plates, trying to organize. Birgit's plate is artfully arranged, things not touching, ratio of great carbs to greens. So being so consumed with fixing our plates, we noticed something odd. No one else was outside of the meeting room anymore. And I was just thinking, dang, are they not hungry? I'm starving. So we walk into the room together, looking like Cat in the Hat together, food stacked, and everyone's heads turned at the same time like we interrupted benediction at the church. Then we realized this was just a stretch break, not a lunch break. Birgit looked at me and said, "I'm sorry. I bet you're wondering, I'm not gonna listen to this woman anymore." So even though we were embarrassed, I was just like, well, look, we just stretched ourselves to the buffet table. And from that day, our relationship has been truly cemented. I am the honorary buffet rookie. She is the queen of premature lunching. And we're just gonna stick with that. So with that being said, I do get the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today, and the person who has in fact supported me through my achievements, walked me through my challenges, and lifted me up when mistakes were made, and obviously laughed through those embarrassing moments. Birgit Smith Burton is the Chief Executive Officer of the African American Development Officers Network, which she founded at Georgia Tech in 1999 to provide professional development, education, employment support, mentorship, and networking opportunities for fundraisers of color. She is a well-regarded speaker on the topics of fundraising and diversity and has authored articles in diversity in the fundraising profession. She's co-authored the book, The Philanthropic Covenant with Black America, contributed to the book 5 Minutes for Fundraising, a collection of expert advice, and tells her own personal story in the book titled Collecting Courage, which shares the lived experiences of Black women and men working in the nonprofit charitable space. During her 26-year tenure at Georgia Tech, she led her team in raising over $700 million from private philanthropic foundations to support programs, scholarships, capital projects. Birgit was selected to participate in the first cohort of Leading Women at Tech and was a recipient of the Team Award for Outstanding Achievement in Research Program Development for the Marcus Center for Therapeutic Cell Characterization and Manufacturing. That was a mouthful. In addition to serving as chair of the A.E. Lowe Grice Scholarship Fund, which honors her grandmother, Birgit serves on the Advisory Council for Somos Se Puede, a National Latinx Fundraising Institute, and the Advisory Committee for Women of Color in Fundraising and Philanthropy, known as WOKE, and she is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. For over a decade, Birgit has served on the global board of the Association of Fundraising Professionals and has the distinction of being the very first African-American woman in AFP's history to be voted chair of the AFP Global Board. Yes, let's give it up. She's also received the Opportunity and Inclusion Award from the Council for the Council for the Advancement and Support of Education, also known as CASE, which recognized her leadership in fostering inclusion and diversity within the fundraising profession. In 2020, the RISE Fund was established in her honor with a mission to advance women of color in fundraising by providing resources, inspiration, support, and education. Again, it is my pleasure to welcome my mentor, a fearless leader, a song hero in philanthropy, Birgit Smith Burton, to the stage.
I told her not to read that whole bio, but she is a woman who does what she wants to do, how she wants to do it. She is fierce. And I am proud to have followed in the footsteps of Sid Schnur. Where's Sid? Raise your hand. Who's the person who mentored Adrienne and passed her on to me. So I'm thrilled about that. And every time she speaks, I have tears in my eyes because she just makes me so proud. So, okay. All right. I mean, because if we don't mentor people and send them out in the world to be exceptional people like Adrienne, then we're wasting our time, right? So I have a speech here, and I'm going to stay on the speech in just a minute, because I'm up here now, and the only thing you can do is take one of those hooks and pull me off. I was sitting in the airport in Atlanta, which is where I live. I live in Atlanta, but I was at a meeting in Savannah, Georgia, yesterday afternoon for AFP, a retreat, and I had to fly back through Atlanta, and I had a 2.5-hour layover in my hometown to get on the flight to get here, which got me in at midnight. And so that 2.5 hours that I was sitting at the Atlanta airport, 25 minutes from my home, saying I shouldn't go home because there could be an accident, there could be anything that keep me from getting back to the airport. At that time, I kept saying, I love Adrian Taylor, I love Adrian Taylor, I love Adrian Taylor. So I'm here because of Adrian, but because of you all and what you do. And let me just say 2 other things very quick. I normally speak, I have 78 slides. I didn't bring those slides. I have a speech that was 55 minutes long, and then Adrian told me I had 5 minutes. So I chat GPT'd how to, take my speech from 55 minutes down to 5. But I have 2 things I want to do real quick. First, I want to thank you all, Cincinnati. I grew up in Buffalo. I am a staunch Buffalo Bills fan. No, this is good, because I want to thank you all for taking care of DeMar. Thank you. Still gonna root for the Bills when we play y'all, but okay. And I also want to tell you that, as the global board chair, I do have to, render some words that, are meaningful. So those of you who might have seen me interview Misty Copeland in New Orleans, who said, oh, thank you, who said, oh, can't wait to hear you speak, you're gonna be funny. I have to be a little serious, so don't mean to disappoint you. But, bear with me, there's some humor at the end, all right? So I just want to tell you it's a true honor to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate National Philanthropy Day. And I have been a member of AFP for many, many years, and I have chaired NPD. I have attended many NPDs, and I'm not gonna lie, do not post this on social media. This is probably the most beautiful setting I have ever participated in NPD. And I'm gonna post pictures, and I'm gonna say how beautiful it is on social media, but I'm not gonna say it's the most beautiful one, so. But you all know that, you're hearing that from me. And I also, the words that I'm gonna share, which have been said by Amanda and Ken, are, what you all are the choir. We're preaching to you. You all are here, you've done it. That magazine, which I understand that's not just for today, right? That's a magazine that celebrates, is such a celebration. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna steal that. I'm telling some other chapters, but you all truly celebrate philanthropy here in Cincinnati. And so at its core, philanthropy is about the joy that comes from contributing to something greater than ourselves. It's about the relationships we build, the lives we touch, the lasting positive change we create when we choose to give not just our money, but our time, our talents, and our hearts. And I'm gonna deviate from my script and share a quick story with you about philanthropy, because, we hear that, well, if you give $1, if you give your time, that is philanthropy. And the big philanthropists that we know of, the Oprah Winfreys and the Bill Gates, they have that money and they have the ability to give it and to give it to, have meaningful impact. But when Adrian was reading my bio and said that I had, at Georgia Tech, I was director of foundation relations, that I had raised over 750 million. I need to update my bio, 750. That's when I retired in December of 2021, and they hired me back on 3 separate contracts to do consulting. So I raised another $50 million while I was doing that. But one of the people that I worked with that had a foundation had given money that supported some research that impacted people with spinal cord injury. And so, this individual is difficult to get to personally because they had, their folks that kind of blocked folks from being able to get to him. And so he was coming to campus, and I would always organize these meetings, and I had organized the meeting with the president of Georgia Tech and the dean of the College of Engineering and some other folks. But this faculty person reached out to me and he said, my son had a terrible accident and he ended up in, this particular research center that did some early quick intervention and saved him from being paralyzed. And I've never had an opportunity to be able to tell this person this. And so I said, listen, I work with his security detail. I work with him. I've been in meetings with him. His car is going to pull up in front of this building at such and such time. You need to be there, ready to go, because when he's stepping out of the car, I'm going to say, sir, here's so-and-so. He has something he'd like to share. And there's going to be all these people behind me waiting to speak to him who are it's going to take them a few seconds. They're going to be going, what's going on here? And who is this person and what, So by the time they realize that, we need to be done, with your thank you. So he pulls up, he gets out of the car, and I said, gentleman has something he wants to share with you. And he told him about his son. And so, I'm looking and the president's going, so I said, rip it up, rip it up, rip it up, rip it up. So he said, so I just want to thank you, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, great, sir. And he goes, wait, this is why I do this. I want to hear. And so everybody stood there and waited, and he spent about 5-6 minutes talking with that father so that he could really understand firsthand the impact of his money. And that was very meaningful. It meant so much to the father. And then Bernie Marcus turned to me and said, thank you. Thank you for letting me hear that. And so Bernie passed away. Some of you may have heard a few weeks ago. He was the co-founder of Home Depot. He had $7 billion to his name when he died. Didn't take any of it with him. But during his lifetime, he had an impact and he cared. And I got to know that side of him, even though the articles that were written upon his death, said some other things about his political interests and his support. I know the man and what he did that impacted, people personally through his philanthropy. So that's the story I want to tell when I share with you what the joy of giving means, besides just, reading a whole bunch of words to you that, ChatGPT kind of edited down to make it sound good. And so the next thing I'd like to do is to celebrate having Ken Cogshill as the new executive director. Welcome to you, and to all of you for having that vision and understanding. It's empowering that the chapter, the AFP Cincinnati chapter, Greater Cincinnati chapter, will reach new heights and expand your impact across the fundraising community. So no pressure, none whatsoever, but with you at the helm and your vision, which I'm sure you have, strategy and operational focus that's needed to better serve the members and strengthen your advocacy efforts and elevate the standards of philanthropy in this region. We really appreciate you taking on this role. And you have no footsteps, to fill. You do this on your own. You set the bar for all those that come behind you. So congratulations and best wishes to you. And so before I take my seat and you all get to eat, I've been asked to share just a little bit about my experience as the first woman of color to serve as the Global Board Chair for the Association of Fundraising Professionals. and what we can learn from my journey as professionals and as leaders and as human beings. AFP was founded in about 1962, and so I'm the third person of color to serve as the global board chair. My mentor was the first, Charles Stevens, in 1995. And then my good friend Alphonse Brown was the second in 2005. So I'm the third and the first woman of color. And I take this seriously because technically I am the highest ranking person at the Association of Fundraising Professionals. So, 27,000 members, the CEO reports to me. I do wake up some days with a really big head, thinking, wow. And then other days I wake up going, wow. It's a lot of responsibility. There are things that you don't even realize that as the chair I have to handle. Issues around, ethical behavior, sexual harassment. People have filed charges. I have to be in the midst of, those discussions, those decisions, which might end up, somebody being, having their membership revoked. Those are the things that don't make the headlines, that, cause sleepless nights. As I do the best job I can representing the association of my peers. And so the past 2 years have been a challenge. I have had the experience, but it's been good too. It's not bad. I'm just saying, there are some challenges. And being the only person of color in my first chapter, and I actually read about this so that if you're a member, there's actually an issue coming out in January that tells my story, so I won't spend 3 hours telling you now, but I was the first person of color in my chapter in Western New York, and I walked in, and there was nobody else there, and I really didn't feel welcomed, and I actually left and never went back. I know that's sad, but I will fast forward. I was a keynote speaker at one of their fundraising days a year and a half ago, and most of the people who were on the board were not born when I showed up at that meeting those many years ago. So they're like, it's not our fault. I'm like, I gotcha. And the chapter is a lot more diverse, and they were very warm and welcoming. So I say that in the article that they made up for it. I was the first person of color hired as a frontline fundraiser at Georgia Tech in 1998. And the first person of color to serve as president of the Greater Atlanta chapter. And there are many things that I've been able to do along the way. But one of the board members, who was a friend of mine, her name is Jay Lopez, we were on the board of AFP Global, and I turned to her one day and I said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being the first. I don't feel like doing it. I'm tired. And she told me to put my big girl pants on and suck it up, because that's what I have to do. And she said, because somebody has to do it. And she swears she didn't say that. I say, all the time, girl, you said, she's like, I didn't say that. That's not how I said. She did. Trust me, she did. So along the way, and some of you may know about some of the challenges that involved anti-Black racism and the Toronto chapter. And if you don't know it, you can Google it and go online, or you can email me. I'll send you a whole little PowerPoint presentation about it. It was challenging and it was emotional. And let me tell you, a couple of the decisions I had to make, one of them was appointing the new president. I felt that the person that I appointed, it was going to be a controversial decision. I turned off my computer. I turned off everything, iPad, and I hit post. My board knew I was going to post it. Adrian was on the board at the time. And I knew that, the president of AFP knew about it, and they had blessed it, but I still was nervous. And I sat on my couch, I hit post, and I just didn't want to know. I just wanted to block it all out, and I heard ding, 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 ding. I was like, oh my God, I forgot to turn off my phone. And all the dings were coming in, I couldn't stand it anymore, and I went and looked, and people were celebrating it. They were saying, wonderful decision, good choice, great job. But there's always the risk that not everybody is going to be a fan of the decisions you make when you're in a leadership role. And so you have to take that deep breath, have your counsel, and trust that you've been put in the leadership role to be the one, to be wise, and to think through the decisions that need to be made, and recognize that sometimes they're not going to be popular. So I could go on and on and on and on. There's a whole bunch of things. Read the article in January. I want to thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here. I have some family in town. I texted them this morning and said, don't be mad at me. I'm in, but I'm out. Maybe next time. So I want to leave you with this thought. Our journeys, whether in leadership, philanthropy, or life, are always ongoing. The lessons we learn from each other, from our communities, and from our own experiences shape the leaders we become. Let's embrace the power of representation, the importance of lifting others, the value of humility, and the strength found in resilience. Together, let us continue to build a world that is not only more inclusive and diverse, but one where all of us, regardless of our backgrounds, have the opportunity to lead, grow, and make a lasting impact. And I wrote those words, not ChatGPT. So thank you. We'll take a short break while you have your lunch. Appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. We're going to get started, so please find your seats and please continue enjoying your meals. We know they're still being served. Thank you for your patience and your grace, but please enjoy. It's now time to celebrate our fantastic honorees. I'd also like to welcome our incoming President Lynn Smith, who's joined me up here, and Ken to help present these awards. Just a quick explanation of how this will work. We will welcome the nominators to the stage to give a brief introduction of the honoree. At that time, we will ask that the recipients make their way to the stage over here, and then the honorees will be given a few minutes to give an acceptance speech, and then we will pose for a group photo over here. To introduce our first award is our Executive Director, Ken.
Thank you again. Our first award is Outstanding Youth in Philanthropy. This is given to the individual, group, organization of young people with exceptional leadership and whose efforts result in developing youth to learn about and participate in philanthropy. To introduce this year's honoree, Peyton Obert, please welcome her nominator, Kelly Collison, CEO of Magnified Giving. Kelly.
Thank you, Ken. My name is Kelly Collison, and I am the Chief Executive Officer at Magnified Giving and Camp Give. At Magnified Giving, we work to educate, inspire, and engage youth and philanthropists. And as such, we come across many amazing young philanthropists, and yet Peyton Obert stands out. It's impressive that Peyton is the founder of a 501c3 at the age of 12. She started at 6, but what's really impressive is that it's remarkable that she shows her actions, and it's motivated by love, kindness, and passion. Her journey with her family to establish Peyton's Lemonade Stand was compelled by Peyton's concern and love for children facing medical, personal, and financial hardships, and she turned her heartbreak into action. Peyton's love and compassion has brought many together, people and partners, to raise funds through lemonade stands for kids in need. In 2023 alone, Peyton's Lemonade Stand raised over $100,000 for children facing hardships. Right. However, more importantly, Peyton models the way for other children and empowered dozens of other youth to raise funds and serve. Over 300 youth in 2023 used Peyton's lemonade stand model to get in on the action and raise funds. That ripple effect is what really sets Peyton apart. I shouldn't look at her. Peyton understands the power of inspiring and empowering others to serve. This happens, I'm so sorry, but it just does. In 2022, I served on a panel at the University of Cincinnati with Peyton on a topic of global philanthropy, and she handled herself like a well-educated, mature college student at the then ripe old age of 10. This forward-thinking, passionate, and kind young lady is making sweet waves in our community, and for that reason, she's truly deserving of this recognition of outstanding youth in philanthropy.
Obert, founder of Peyton's Lemonade Stand. I'm truly humbled to be here today accepting this award. I must say, when I was 6 years old, hosting my very first lemonade stand in my driveway, I never imagined winning an award like this. I want to thank the incredible team at Magnified Giving for nominating me for this prestigious award. I also want to thank both Mr. Foley and Mr. Foreman for writing supporting letters. And finally, I want to thank my friends and family who are here today taking time out of their busy schedules to support me. I know my sister and biggest supporter was happy to be able to miss school today. What started as one lemonade stand in my driveway has quickly transformed into a successful nonprofit helping thousands of local kids facing medical, personal, and economic hardships each year. We're helping kids experiencing homelessness, kids in the foster care system, kids in underfunded schools, kids in the hospital, and so many more. But we're also empowering our next generation of philanthropists. I don't know if you've noticed, but Cincinnati has seen a huge uptick of lemonade stands. This past July, I hosted my 7th annual Peyton's Lemonade Stand. We had 90 stands all throughout Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. Hosts included fire departments, Kings Island, nursing homes, soccer teams, local businesses, and excited kids in their driveways. We raised over $140,000 in just 3 hours. I'm now busy preparing for our annual Lemon Giving Tree campaign, where we have 38 holiday trees at various local businesses, all collecting much-needed items for kids facing hardships. We hope to collect over $50,000 worth of things like brand new coats, PJs, socks, toys, and so much more. But that's not all. We've also been busy making monthly donations by the truckload to local schools, food pantries, and nonprofits. These are things like batteries, hygiene products, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, diapers, and more. In 2 short years, we've donated over $3 million worth of supplies. While it's wonderful to be recognized, it's not the reason why I do this. I do it because I have a passion for helping people. It makes me feel good to help the less fortunate. My mom says I've always been this way, even as a toddler. There is so much work to be done, and I'm here to tell you that it only takes one person. It takes one person with a dream to make a difference. I had a dream at 6 years old to donate my lemonade stand proceeds and help those in need, and look what has transpired since. As I wrap this up, I encourage you to be that person in your community, and don't ever think that the power to make a difference doesn't reside in you.
I'm much taller. Our next award is for Lifetime Achievement in Fundraising. This honor of the year goes to M. Patricia Rosalie. Presenting this award is her nominator, Christy Brown, CEO of OneSource.
Good afternoon. So it's a little hard to follow that, but actually, Patty is the person. So, and I have to say too that I listened to the instructions for like a 1-minute introduction. So while Patty's achievements go far beyond what I'm going to say, I will stick to my script. So I'm honored to introduce this year's recipient of the Lifetime Achievement in Fundraising Award, M. Patricia Rosalie. Many of us at OneSource have had the privilege of benefiting directly from Patty's remarkable fundraising expertise. As a small organization, we would not normally have been able to engage someone with her extensive credentials. But thanks to a timely introduction, where's Danielle, of her mutual friend, Patty joined OneSource's team, and we have benefited greatly from her invaluable guidance. Patty's impact has been profound throughout her career, particularly in her leadership at Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park. The results of the capital campaign she launched are evident every time we attend a performance there, and they continue to enrich our community. While at Beach Acres, she expanded the development efforts to nearly double the annual funds raised to support strong families. So the impact of her work is affecting generations to come. I learned that a past donor reached out with a note of congratulations, and a former colleague from the Playhouse flew in from Denver to be here today. This, along with being recognized with this award, is a testament to her and her as an incredible person and contributor to our community. For me, I hold Patty in very high regard and am very happy that she is not just a former colleague, but now she is also a good friend, especially since this is the way to go out on your retirement. So she's retired, and I'm just thrilled that she's being recognized with this award. So Patty, on behalf of the entire Cincinnati community, we thank you for the lasting legacy that you have built through your life's work. Congratulations and cheers.
Thank you, Christy, for that wonderful introduction. I am so pleased to be here. It is wonderful to be in this beautiful ballroom with our community's changemakers celebrating the power of giving back. I am humbled to be in this amazing class of honorees. Barbara, Pam, and Sherry, your work in building community, spreading hope and joy, and lifting up our neighbors inspire me. And Peyton, wow, thank you for leading by example and reminding us that the future is indeed bright thanks to you and your generation. There are so many people to thank, people who made it possible for me to create an impact and serve the organizations I have been blessed to be a part of. First up, my family. My husband, Keith Rosalie, is a superstar. For all the extra parent duty logged while I was at an opening or an event, for expert leading our household, moves to pursue the career I was building, and most importantly, for always putting our children first and serving as our rock. My deepest gratitude and love. And my kids, both of whom are here today. What a blessing it is to be your mom. Melissa, thanks for making the trip. Your work as a teacher and administrator is so important to ensuring a bright future for our youth. I cannot wait to see where your path leads as you and your wonderful husband, Roy, continue your San Diego journey. And how fortunate am I to have my son, Jared, and his amazing wife, Darielle, and their 3 children right here in Cincinnati. Jared, your work as an attorney in the public sector helps families secure the support they need to achieve the success we all strive for. And yes, grandparenthood rocks. So I must give a shout out to my beloveds, those inimitable Rosalie brothers, first grader Declan, preschooler Denton, and my bonus granddaughter Delaney, who's a sophomore at UC. I am also truly blessed with a strong network of friends, most of whom were made through my career connections. Time doesn't allow me to mention each of you who I hold dear, but I must give a special shout out to 2 extraordinary women. Sydney Schnurr, my partner in crime. We were hooked at the hip at the Playhouse for 6 seasons. Your surprise appearance last night, all the way from Colorado, means the world to me. And a friendship that goes back to 10th grade trigonometry class. Liz Gillis-Krupa and her husband Greg made the trip from Ludington, Michigan to be with us today. Known in high school as the girls who could break into song riffing off any conversation of the moment, Liz, today we would definitely be singing, "You've Got a Friend," or perhaps, "That's What Friends Are For." It was my great pleasure to spend the last year of my career working at One Source Center for Nonprofit Excellence. Thank you, Christy and LA, for insisting on nominating me for this award, and a big shout out to the wonderful colleagues and board leaders whose support letters brought tears to my eyes. And to AFP Cincinnati, thank you. Receiving an award from a jury of your peers makes that honor just that much sweeter. I have often said that fundraising is a team sport. The CEO's inspirational vision moves volunteer leaders and donors to invest their time and treasure, and the staff provide the infrastructure to make the vision reality. But as importantly, fundraising is about relationships, connecting people with causes and each other. It has been my privilege to work with some of the most visionary staff and board leaders, donors, and fundraising teams. To my amazing fundraising teams, thanks for always having my back and cheering me on. Your hard work, passion, and commitment to our causes were the inspiration that kept me afloat. It is only because of you that I stand here today accepting this honor. And to my AFP colleagues and other fundraising warriors working tirelessly in our community, never underestimate the importance of the work you do. We need your passion and your leadership, especially today, so that our nonprofit sector can continue our critical work of improving our communities and the lives of our neighbors. And to each of you here today, working to create change in our community, our country, and around the world, I leave you with this reminder from writer Mary Jessamine West. We are each angels with only one wing to fly. Let me rephrase. We are each of us angels with only one wing. To fly, we need only to embrace each other. Thank you.
Hi. Our next award is the Outstanding Corporation or Foundation Award. Introducing this year's honoree, BT Rise, is Christy Coons. Christy is President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio. Accepting the award is Barbara Turner, founder and CEO of BT Rise.
Good afternoon. I am extremely honored to be able to present this award to Barbara Turner, the leader of BT Rise. Since its recent inception, BT Rise has immediately embedded itself into the funding landscape for many organizations like the Urban League, the YWCA, Northern Kentucky University, and the United Way, which joined in nominating BT Rise and Barbara Turner for this award. BT Rise has a trust-based approach to philanthropy, giving organizations the freedom to decide the highest and best use of its investment towards one of BT Rise's focus areas, and they also provide technical assistance if necessary. BT Rise recognizes the challenges that many organizations face in triaging the critical needs in our community, particularly the unique challenges faced by organizations on the front lines of economic empowerment services to underserved populations. In a short period of time, women, people of color, and other underserved populations have already benefited immensely from BT Rise's commitment and investment in our region. And finally, at the heart of BT Rise's immediate impact on our community is the result of its dynamic founder and leader, Barbara Turner. Barbara's personal dedication to our region and the organizations serving our region is woven into the fabric of the organization. She is an incredible leader and champion for the nonprofit community. And as the founder of BT Rise, it is no surprise that the organization has already surpassed expectations. She is also supported by a wonderful family. Her husband Damon and her kids Tiffany, Fred, and Dane are also here in support, and they are always there to support. I am personally grateful for her support in my journey, both personally and professionally. And I can't thank her enough for providing the blueprint for what authentic engagement and support in philanthropy looks like. Congratulations, Barbara. I can't think of a more deserving person to come up here and receive this award.
Oh, Christy. Thank you, Christy. I really appreciate you, your leadership, and most importantly, our friendship. Would also like to thank the other organizations that supported the nomination, Urban League, of course, United Way, Greater Cincinnati, and my dear friend Maura, YWCA of Greater Cincinnati, and my dear friend Raquel, and then Northern Kentucky University, which I'm sure Danielle had something to do with that. I would also like to thank the Cincinnati chapter of the AFP for this honor and recognition, and congratulate Sherry, Patty, Peyton, and Pam on their well-deserved honors, and thank them also for all they do for the community to give back and to make it better. When I started BT Rise, I spent a considerable amount of time reflecting on what I wanted the organization to represent, and ultimately came up with the name Rise. BT, of course, is Barbara Turner, but Rise stands for resilience, integrity, strength, and equity, all qualities that I strive to embody in my life. We held the first BT Rise board meeting in August 2023, just a little more than a year ago. But I've been a philanthropist for most of my life. When I didn't have money to give, I gave my time and my talent, and I shared my experiences in hopes that it would help someone in need. I say this to remind everyone that anyone can be a philanthropist. Simply put, a philanthropist is a person who donates time, money, experience, skills, or talent to help create a better world. The term philanthropy has Greek roots, and it means love of humanity. BT Rise is the vehicle my family uses to demonstrate our love for humanity and to help our community better for all, one opportunity at a time. I've held many prestigious business and community roles, but my role as CEO and founder of BT Rise, aside from being a wife and mother, is the most fulfilling. The BT Rise team and board are dedicated to improving our community, and I would like to recognize the BT Rise team and board at this time. Mary Carol Wetherington, Fred Dace, Dane Dudley, Anthony Harris, and Danielle Ivory. If you would please stand and be recognized. This is an organization award. My work in corporate America and the community represents only one aspect of who I am. What drives me every day is my role as a Christian, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a mother-in-law, a daughter, sister, aunt, and friend. These are the roles that really fuel my desire to give my best and help build a community where we can all thrive and truly feel a sense of belonging. I thank my wonderful husband, Damon, who I met in this actual room about 35 years ago. I thank him for his love and support, and my children, Dane, Fred, and Tiffany, for their love, sacrifice, and support. My son-in-law for always being here to support me, Miko. And I say everyone has something of unique value to give. You just need to dig and figure out what it is you want to give and go from there. I leave you all with this thought. You can always, always give something, even if it is only kindness. Anne Frank. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Pam Weber, who is being recognized for Volunteer of the Year. Introducing Pam is her nominator, Danielle Gentry Barth, Executive Vice President of Easter Seals Redwood. Please welcome Danielle to the stage.
Good morning. This light is so bright. I can't see anybody, so I was worried about reading my words. Now I'm just worried that I can see someone. I am so pleased to be with all of you this afternoon. As the 2012 AFP Greater Cincinnati Chapter President, this event, National Philanthropy, has always held a dear place in my heart. And today it's more meaningful than ever. I just witnessed my wonderful friend, Patty Rosalie, not gonna tear up, receive an award that she is so deserving of, and that feels amazing. Congratulations. And now I have the great fortune of introducing Pam Weber. Pam and I have worked together for nearly 9 years. She as a board member and philanthropy committee chair and campaign co-chair, and me as EVP at Easter Seals Redwood. There are many, many words to describe Pam. She's all about her family. She's a daughter, a sister, a wife, and a very devoted mom. And she will do whatever it takes to take care of her people, with, like, hands down. She's a banker and a very accomplished professional with a huge network of friends and colleagues. She's a connector, maybe the best that I've ever known. She's always looking for ways to connect like-minded people, especially when it involves a mission she feels strongly about. She's a passionate volunteer and board member, and she's the kind of board member, when she says, yes, I'll do it, she actually means, yes, I'm gonna commit 1,000,000% to it and nobody get in my way. And when she believes in something, she is all in. There is absolutely no stopping Pam Weber. And let me tell you, she's one hell of a fundraiser. So all of you fundraisers who talk about board members needing to be better at it, they need to learn from Pam Weber. And yet, her best gift to the world may be that she's a champion of people. She champions people who need a hand up. She champions young professionals who are new in their career. She champions people who want to have their voices heard. She champions women. She champions college students who are trying to find their way. She champions people who have long been excluded. She has touched the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people. And for all of these reasons, and so many more, I am so proud to introduce this champion, the Association of Fundraising Professionals 2024 Volunteer of the Year, Pam Weber.
Thank you. I knew she was going to do this. Like Danielle said, we've worked together for 9 years now, and she is venturing off into a new place for her. And we joked, I knew she was going to tell me the morning she told me. And I had a whole entire speech, and I'm going so off script right now, I'm sorry. I had a whole speech about how she couldn't do it. No, can't do it. All these reasons that I had stacked up until she told me that she was going to go off, start her own gig, and help people, so many different people, to raise money the right way. And she blew every argument that I had because I knew this was exactly where she should be. I knew it was what our community needed because we need to learn how to raise money better. There's too many causes and too many missions out there. And one of the things that I've learned from her is that fundraising is actually storytelling. We've heard it already today. It's about telling the story. And she has so taught me that. Because if all of us just told a story and thought about it that way, we'd never be afraid. Nobody that we ever interacted with would be afraid to ask for money because we're just telling a story about something that we believe in, that people that need help, people that need voices. And I thank you for being part of my journey in learning how to be better and to help this community better by telling stories. So I love you, and I can't wait to see how you change this community in your next chapter. So, with that, I will get back to my script. But thank you to Danielle. Thank you to all my wonderful family at Easter Seals Redwood. You know how much I love you guys. I think, for any of you that read my bio, you know how special that organization is to me. It started off as something that Warren and I just simply, we loved what they represented. We loved the leadership and the people and the individuals that they served. Never did we expect that down the road, our family, our son, would be the beneficiary of the services provided. He is a different human being today because of Easter Seals Redwood. And he is a proud employee of Easter Seals Redwood, and that is 6 years strong now, and he is a happy, healthy individual. And if not for Pam and Danielle, I'm not sure what story I would be telling you today. So thank you to all of you. Love you, and can't imagine life without you. There are so many other individuals in this room involved with organizations that I spend my time with. We just had I just had my last board meeting of 12 years with the YWCA. I said they are a part of my DNA, and I mean that, and I love all of the individuals there and everything that they represent, and everything. I'm staying connected. I'm going to go through withdrawal after 12 years on the board, so I'm going to have to figure out something. Many of my friends from UC are here, and I truly love my time at UC and spending time with the students and being part of discussions that are about how we're going to bring more and more education and wisdom and talent to our youth and out into the community. To my PNC colleagues, we are so blessed to work at a place that not only supports what we do in the community, but they encourage it and they celebrate us for it. And that is pretty special. To my fellow award winners, I mean, my God. It is so humbling to share this day with all of you. It really, really renews my energy and my energy and my hope for tomorrow because of your commitment to our community and those in need. To my family, my husband Warren, my daughter Kendall, who's here from IU, her schedule worked out that she could be here today, and I can't even begin to tell you how much that means to me. And she is pursuing business. So just so if anybody is looking for a summer intern, she's at table number 7. Just saying, all right? And she's an incredible business student, so just saying. My son, Jason, could not be here today. My mom and my brother could not be here today. And I also need to take a moment to just say thank you to my father. We lost him 2 years ago today, and I could not think of a better way to celebrate his life by being up here and just taking one moment to say, I think I must be doing something right. And part of that is because of him. I can't thank my family enough. Another special individual that here is my very dear friend, Christy. Oftentimes in life, friends come and go, and it's not too often that later in your life, you find a friend that they just get you. And that's what I have, and that is so special. And so for all of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for putting up with the crazy, because Lord knows they put up with my insistence that there's always more to do, and that we can't sit still. And I know that they want to sit still sometimes, and it just kind of doesn't work out that way. And finally, I want to thank all the folks from AFP, the fundraisers, the development team members, and the philanthropists in this room today. You are the lifeblood of our nonprofit organizations. It is not an easy job to raise money when the playing fields, the rules, and the finish lines are constantly changing. You, however, always seem to find a way to rise to the occasion, make the goal, and fund the programs or the causes, because you know that lives are at stake. You always put those in need at the forefront of every single strategy, campaign, ask, or story told. And your creativity, your persistence, your passion are what keep doors open and people served. So, thank you to all of you for everything you do. Thank you for allowing all of us being honored today to be part of your teams and to help in some small way to make a difference. You guys are the ones that get it done, and you, honestly, you should be the ones that are being honored today and celebrated today. So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Okay, our final award, Philanthropist of the Year, is presented to an individual or corporation or a foundation with a record of exceptional generosity, who through financial support has demonstrated outstanding civic and charitable responsibility, and who encourages others to take philanthropic leadership roles in their communities. To introduce this year's honoree, please welcome nominator Jackie Rao, CEO of Game Day Communications. Jackie.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jackie Rowe, and I have the incredible honor of introducing Sherry Merrick. Today, we honor and celebrate a remarkable individual whose generosity and passion have transformed countless lives across our community. Sherry's journey as a philanthropist began in partnership with her loving husband, Len, and continues today with her son, Michael. Sherry has dedicated her time to helping others, and this has grown into an extraordinary legacy of service. Sherry's given her time, talent, resources to a long list of organizations, from Dress for Success, which we both cherish. She was a founding board member, and where she is also the largest donor in the history of the organization, now celebrating its 25th anniversary. Countless other organizations Sherry has supported: May Festival, Cincinnati Art Museum, Cincinnati Zoo, Lighthouse Youth Services, among so many more. Her commitment to children and the arts is especially close to her heart, and her decades-long impact has shaped our city in so many ways. Please join me in celebrating this year's Philanthropist of the Year, the incredible Sherry Merrick.
Thank you. There is nothing for me to say. Everybody said everything perfectly, all the wonderful thank yous. I feel very humbled to be up here, and my speech is terrible. So, just so you know ahead of time, so you can yawn and you can get up and leave, and I won't be offended. But I'm truly honored to accept this award. Who would ever thought this little girl from Higbee, Missouri, of a town of 300 people, who was going to worry about where she's going to have dinner the next night, who was going to go outside so she could wash her hands. I can't believe I'm up here. So I grew up in a small town. My father died when I was very young. I'm sure you read that already. My mother was not educated at the time. She wanted to be. So she went back to school. Nights, weekends. It took her years to get through school. She got her master's when I got my bachelor's. So I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I knew that I needed not only to help myself, but I knew there were others in need that needed more than I did. I mean, in the town I lived in, oh my goodness. I'll show you pictures, and somebody said, well, I've never seen anything like that. Well, no, you probably have. Giving back was instilled in me early. Like I said, I knew I needed to help people because I knew I needed to help myself. But I worked hard to get an education because my mother told me, you've got to have an education. So I went to school. Took me a long time to get through, but I got a scholarship, smart enough to get one, thank God. So anyway, so now to say thank you, you know what I'd like you to do, and you're going to just look at me and you say, she's nuts. But I've worked with a lot of organizations I know a lot of people here. Just stand up if you've been worked with me before. Anybody in here ever worked with me before? I'm just curious. Anyway. Well, if you haven't, you probably will, I'm afraid. So, philanthropy is about rolling up your sleeves, not just giving money, but giving your time and your talents and supporting other people who don't know how to do something or who want some expertise. Obviously, we have that in the youth coming up. Yes, I had worked with many charities. The list is in the magazine, which is kind of embarrassing. And I'm passionate about children and empowering them. Oftentimes, the only way to get to the children is through the mothers. And so when the mothers feel good about what they're doing, they're able to help the children. And the children see that in the mother's dignity and how she perceives things. So she would empower them with what she does. And I think that's one of the most important things, especially if it's a single mother, which I'm very familiar with. I've helped many organizations. I'm so happy to be here, and I thank anybody that's helped me. I'm very supportive of any of the nominations, and I'm very happy to be one of them, and I wish I'd have been first instead of last, but that's okay. I've been in Cincinnati now for many, many years, from Missouri. We moved around Ohio. My husband was with the Kroger Company, and he retired at an early age, and when he retired, I began to be able to do things. You know, before that, I worked. So our son grew up here. He's married to a lovely lady, and then we have 3 great-grandchildren. So a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 14-year-old, and they're very busy and committed to all their sports and all their education, and they're going to be up here one of these days. The biggest tradition, I think, the most lingering one that I've been involved with is St. Vincent de Paul. I have done a fundraiser for them. I started out as a thank you to all these people that didn't stand up, I'll tell you that. Thank you to all those people that helped me to run a charity event, to all the things I did. So I didn't know them well. I didn't know them. I hadn't been here long enough. So I started having a luncheon, and I invited all the people that had helped me to that. And so it grew. It started with 50 people, and it got to be really big. And they were bringing me these hostess gifts, which I didn't need, and my mother was loving every bit of it. But I said, I got to change this. We got to do something else. So I asked St. Vincent de Paul if we could do the toy drive. And that was quite a few years ago. This year, it will happen in December, and I've invited 1,200 people. So I could say the year before last, I knew everybody that came because I waited at the door to see if you were coming or not. And then I went around to the table to say, oh, where did they go? They were here earlier, aren't they going to stay? And everybody that goes to those luncheons knows I do that. So, so anyway, this year is a whole new thing. 1,200 people. I don't know husbands. I don't know boyfriends. And there's a lot. I'm trying to get a young group because I'm old, you know, and I want this new group to come in and take over this particular thing, which is passing it on. So I'm hoping for a very large crowd and a lot of toys. We usually fill a big truck with toys, a huge truck. And it was overwhelming the first year I went. Mike Dunn's here somewhere, and he was the one that said, why don't you come down and see what you really do? I couldn't believe it. Oh, and I couldn't stop then. Had to keep that up. So that, among many things, have been my lifeline here. So thank you. Thanks to the honorees. Thanks to all the committee. I'm new at this philanthropy thing as far as knowing even about the organization. So how could I be around that long and not know anything about it? I don't know. Whatever. So thank you for honoring me. Together we can make this a better city. It's a great city now, but it can be better. A place of generosity and hope and opportunity. And I think without all of us, we wouldn't do as well, of course. But this city rocks. And I love being here. Thank you.
As we come to the close of the luncheon, let's give one more collective round of applause to our honorees today.
So, on behalf of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Greater Cincinnati Chapter, thank you all for joining us for National Philanthropy Day. We will see you here next year. Go forth and do good. Thank you.